How's it, BT? How you doing?
I'm I'm good yourself.
I'm great, thank you very much. Welcome back to Break at the Apex, guys. This is myself and BT. It's just the two of us today. If you've watched the last couple episodes, you would have seen that we've had Dirk with us, but today it's just us. Unfortunately, Dirk is not available, but he will be back again, hopefully next week. BT, I've already asked how you're doing, so let's just get straight into it. I think we're gonna have a bit of fun. It was honestly, let's just put Monza in a nutshell. It was an absolutely amazing race, and for different reasons. To Zandvoort, for example, it wasn't the most extravagant. There wasn't the most craziest overtakes, but that intensity was there. The enjoyment was there. The excitement was there. So before we get into it, guys, if I can just please, you guys know it's that time where I've got to ask you for these things. I really don't like it, but I've got to do it, guys. Please, if you can, hit that subscribe button. We really, really appreciate it. It helps us a lot. Um, and if you're on Spotify, give us a nice 5-star review. As I've said before, we are quite pretty. At least, our mothers say we're pretty. And if you're not watching for the content, just watch for our faces. I think that would be quite fair. So either way, we deserve a 5-star or a subscribe or whatever. It really helps us a lot. Thank you so much if you are watching. BT, let's get into this race review for the Monza Grand Prix. What an insane race. Do you have any sort of pre things that you would like to say before we start? I think we can get straight into the top three. I don't know if you want to say anything before we get into it.
I mean, I don't want to say anything that I might say later on, so let's not spoil it for them. Let's just get to the top three. Let's just let it rip, basically. Let's go.
Right. Okay. So, we're gonna get into the top three first. That's basically where we each give our top three, and we then debate to make a combined top three, for the break at the Apex top three challenge. Who each driver that is in the top three gets given points, and at the end of the year, we'll decide which driver was the best based on break at the Apexes. This doesn't involve Max in most cases because he's just too good, and we want to determine who's the best driver other than Max. So that's what we're doing here. Cool. BT, do you want to go first? Should I go first? What do you want to do? Give me your thoughts.
You can go first. Seeing that I was the Ferrari fan, it was a home race, so you can go first.
Hey, I actually forgot to mention that. I should have actually come up with the sickest intro. I should have come up with the sickest intro, but I actually completely forgot, and I actually neglected the fact that we have a Ferrari. I don't know what I just said, but we have a Ferrari fan in our presence. Um, and Monza being the home race. Hey, listen, considering where Ferrari's been all day, all year, again, I don't know what I'm saying. Considering where Ferrari's been all year, they turned up at home. Let's be real. They turned up. Um, Anyways, let's get into the top three. Pretty simple for me. I'm going to go Sainz, Perez, Leclerc. I'll give you my reasons quickly. My top three is Sainz, Perez, Leclerc. I'll give you my reasons. First of all, Sainz to me, I feel like we say this every race over the last couple of races. This is his best race. This is his best race. And I think he's just getting better and better. And I think he's really starting to get to grips with that car. Sainz to me, driver of the day. His defensive driving, moving, whatever you want to call it, was on the limit. Borderline dirty, but at the same time, it wasn't what I would deem to be um, illegal. I guess is the right word. I thought it was fair. It's hard racing, and I thought it was amazing. So Sainz to me, just the way he defended Max, the way he defended Perez, the way he defended against Leclerc, it was just amazing to watch. So Sainz number one, Perez number two, just simply because Perez for me showed up. He redeemed himself a little bit today. He struggled a bit in the beginning to get past Russell, but once he got past Russell, he found the pace, and then he just picked off Leclerc and Sainz. And to finish second, that's where we're looking. That's where we want him to be, and I think It's bad that I'm actually giving him, it's not good that I'm putting him in the top three because you kind of should expect him to be finishing second, but the fact is he hasn't been, and so I was quite impressed with how he's managed to sort of come back into this. So Perez for second, Leclerc I'll put third. I think both Ferrari drivers deserve to be in this top three. I think both of them were extremely quick. They drove extremely well, and they were having fun out there. They were having fun. They were having a go at each other, and you could see they were just having a bit of fun. And that's what it's supposed to be. These drivers are supposed to be enjoying themselves, and it's good to see Ferrari drivers enjoying themselves because we all know they haven't really been doing that. So that's my top three. So BT, it's your turn. Shoot.
Same top three as well, in the exact same order. As you said, Sainz looked good this whole weekend. From Friday until Sunday, he looked fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think that car is actually. I think that car is meant to adapt or be in favor of Sainz driving style. That's the way I've been looking at it.
Yeah.
And Leclerc is actually struggling this season with that car.
100%.
But the funny thing is that Leclerc is getting the podiums and he is actually really managing that car very well for a car that he is struggling with.
Yeah.
So Sainz, number one for this past race. Fantastic result. He got the pole and he did finish third. And as you said, he did defend very well against the Red Bulls and his teammate as well. Perez, we were talking during the weekend that I also said that I was quite fed up with him. But he did actually step up in the race. It was good to see him taking charge of the race, having that pace, attacking the Ferrari drivers.
Yeah.
And he knew that he had to do that in order for him to redeem himself for this weekend as well.
Yeah.
Leclerc, I was very impressed with him. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was very impressed with Leclerc because he was struggling from first practice. I think
he was.
The setup of the car was not quite good.
Yeah.
And for him to achieve a result like that, to even qualify third and actually finish fourth, not that far from his teammate, is quite good. So yeah, it's for the very first time we have this exactly the same selection.
It's actually quite amazing.
Sunday.
So 3 points for Sainz, 2 points for Perez, and 1 point for Leclerc. So it's really good to see us actually agreeing for once on the top three. I know it's good content to disagree. People tend to like it when we disagree. I think in general, people even if you watch other podcasts, people love it when the people on the podcast disagree. But
entertainment.
Yeah, but for us, I think this is quite cool because it actually just shows you that we were watching the same race. But also
this time around.
Yeah, this time around we were watching the same race.
Yeah.
No, but we're not generally far off. We generally just don't have the order the same, but we're not usually far off from each other. For those of you that need to know, if BT seems very bit docile, he just woke up from a bit of a nap. He definitely seems a little bit docile to me. But at least he's smiling. Okay, so we'll pick up the excitement now in a bit. Guys, that's our top three. Obviously, we don't have to argue too much about it because we agreed. So that's good for us. At least we won't have to see each other tomorrow with boxing gloves. We're gonna be quite happy when we see each other tomorrow. But let's get straight into the race review. That's why you're here. We'll start off with our 1 sentence race caption. BT, seeing as I went first in the top three, you can shoot first with your 1 sentence race caption. Go for it.
So my race caption is the Colors Sainz Show. So that's my race caption for this race.
Yeah.
It's quite self-explanatory. All eyes was on him.
Yeah.
He did qualify on pole. He was in Monza, where it's a Ferrari home race. So all the cameras, everyone's eyes was on him. And for exactly 15 laps, he managed to actually keep Max behind, which was quite fantastic to watch.
100%.
Something that we didn't think might happen for too long, but he did actually stretch it out. And there was a moment where he actually could defend against Max as well, which quite showed that the Ferrari was quite pacey in this particular race,
Yeah.
and they were able to reach their top speed, and that's what Max said. It was so difficult to overtake the Ferraris in this race because they were able to reach the top speed very quickly.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm calling it the Carlos Sainz show, because he tried his best. We knew that Ferrari was not going to win that race. I didn't think, can really not lie, like I thought maybe 40% of the time that Carlos Sainz would repeat something that Leclerc done against Lewis Hamilton in 2019. I kind of felt like that when the race started. However, as Carlos Sainz went and started to defend Max Verstappen even more and start losing his rear tires, you could see Max was starting to catch up as well.
Yeah.
So in a nutshell, he done very well, and this race was his race. And you can't say it was his race to lose.
Yeah.
Because coming from first to third, or qualifying first and finishing third, you know that Verstappen has the more superior car. For me, it's a win. So yeah, that's why then my race caption was Carlos Sainz show. Nice. It was a show indeed.
Nice, well done. Okay, so I do agree with that. I agree with everything you said. Mine has also got to do with Carlos Sainz, but mine is more of a question. But basically, mine says, who knew defensive driving could be so exciting? And that's just simply because, you know, we love the overtakes in F1. You know, we love watching overtakes. We love the dive bombs and whatnot. But who knew it could be exciting to watch a driver defend for 50 laps? You know, it was just so good. Like the quality of defending was so good, and no matter who tried what, he just held them off for as long as he could, and it was just beautiful to watch. So yeah, that's my one sentence race caption. Who knew defensive driving could be so exciting? Cool. It was
actually.
It was. Yeah. Right. So, I'm gonna start off with the Ferrari team because it was their home race. I think it would be a good start to get into. I was messing around with BT a little bit earlier on WhatsApp. And I was going in on what Leclerc was doing at the end, and BT was like, but you really don't like Leclerc. I actually do. I was just messing with BT. I'm actually extremely happy with how this race went. I'm really happy for the team. Both drivers did a really amazing job. I'm not going to lie, there is a bit of what happened at the end that sort of upset me a little bit. Like, I don't know what Charles was doing on the last lap. I don't know what he thought he was doing, because he almost bottled it on the last lap, which would have been terrible. But I liked that the team gave them a bit of freedom. The only thing that I don't like, and the only concern that I do have is, you know, one, why are you giving them that freedom at their home race? That's when you should be telling them, just bring it home, both of you. You're in good positions, you know. And the other thing is, like, when Sainz is going faster than Leclerc, they don't give him that same freedom. So that's the only sort of thing that I can say that it's a bit negative for me. I don't like that. I just feel like, you know, Ferrari, it just definitely seems like it's quite clear that they do favor Leclerc, but it's not unfair. Max is favored too. We all know this. It's not like it's an unfair thing. It's just, you know, when Sainz does show that he's quicker, they don't seem to give him the same kind of leeway they gave Charles today, if you want to say it like that. But you know what? Sainz has been confirmed to be talking to Audi. Leclerc has pledged his himself to Ferrari. So, you know, you can't be too upset with Ferrari for backing their boy, if you want to call it that. That, you know, they're backing their boy. So I'll give them that. Before I hand over to you, BT, I just want to say well done to Ferrari, to the Ferrari fans. I said to BT at the beginning of the weekend that Vettel was so correct when he said, everybody's a Ferrari fan, even if you're not a Ferrari fan. And to me, it's just such an exciting thing to see when Ferrari is doing well. The whole F1 world just seems uplifted. It's actually quite amazing. You just see how everybody is happy. Merc fans are happy. Red Bull fans are. Everybody is just happy when Ferrari is doing well, and it's amazing to see how the whole F1 world just seems to be happy when Ferrari is doing well. I particularly like it because I just think that Ferrari's got the most passionate fans in the world, and that passion you see that passion come through when Ferrari are doing well, and it just makes for nice racing, and it I don't know, everything just seems a lot better in the F1 world when Ferrari are doing well. So well done to Ferrari, well done to Carlos Sainz especially. I mean, that guy impressed me. He impressed me a lot today. Honestly, that's got to be one of his best drives I've ever seen, and he's had quite a few. But that one was especially amazing for me to watch. BT, you are the Ferrari man, so I'm going to hand over to you to give your thoughts on your team at home. Go for it.
First of all, look, I was surprised about the pace. Honestly, we were speaking, I think on Saturday or Friday, when both me and you were surprised of their pace.
Yeah.
Even on practice 3.
Yeah.
Even Sainz topped that sheet. On the long runs in practice 2, they were looking quite fast. They were banging consistent times, more or less the same times as well. So that was quite awesome to see. Obviously, qualifying, me and you knew that qualifying they might be in the top 3.
Yeah.
Those two cars. So I wasn't that surprised. Maybe I was surprised that Sainz actually qualified first, because during the qualifying session, it looked like Leclerc had it in the bag, because Leclerc was going the fastest in the first sector, and when I saw Sainz faster in the second sector, that's when I started to think maybe Sainz might be second, because I always knew that Max will bang in a good time, but Sainz qualifying time actually really surprised me, and it was so shocking how close their times were.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I know Dirk shared that in our WhatsApp group with us, how close those times were. I don't know if you had a look at that, but anyway, race Sainz done very well. As I said, he finished the job. That's the only way I can put it. He finished the job.
Yeah.
He's been consistent throughout the season this year. He has improved. He's improved like drastically as a good driver for Ferrari. Last year he did struggle, but this year I can see that he's keeping on par with Leclerc, which is quite nice to see. And as we said as well, look, if Sainz wasn't speaking to Audi and trying to work out that deal and stuff like that, I think Ferrari would actually give him a fair strategy.
Yeah.
So you must understand that Leclerc doesn't want to leave. He really wants to win a championship with that team.
Yeah.
And obviously now they have signed Fred, which is, we know the history between Fred and Leclerc. So that signing, it kind of favors Leclerc. It kind of it's making Ferrari Ferrari saying that, look, we want to win with Leclerc. I'm not saying if Ferrari doesn't win a championship if Ferrari do win a championship with Sainz one day, or I don't know, if it happens, they won't be excited. They will. But I think if Ferrari wins a championship with Leclerc, their golden boy, I think the impact of that championship will be massive for Ferrari and Fred, of course. So I was blown away by the race. I wasn't satisfied. I wasn't happy. I wasn't how can I put it? I was more calm because I knew that anything could happen. You know Ferrari and their strategies and stuff like that. Because at some point, there was a window that Ferrari could have actually tried a strategy where Leclerc would have challenged Max for the win. Before they put it to that window. And I feel like Ferrari was so scared of losing those positions, they didn't want to risk it and actually try that strategy where they actually put Leclerc first before
Yeah.
putting Sainz, because apparently that was going to work out. And maybe it could be an undercut
Yeah.
for Max. I don't know how that was going to work, but I was hearing the guy that the commentator was actually saying that this was the time that Ferrari could actually decide on a strategy to keep Sainz out and put Leclerc. And when Leclerc comes back, he could just challenge Max for the lead, or to do that for Sainz as well, or to keep both of them on track. So that's just one of the things that are missing in Ferrari. There's critical decisions they have to make during the race, and I feel like they fail to be in the moment where they try to maximize their positions. Basically, they're too conservative.
Yeah.
And that's what I see in Ferrari. They were too safe today. I mean,
Yeah.
they had the pace to mess around the strategy for once.
Yeah.
Understand what I mean? So that's another thing that I was quite disappointed about. But in terms of the guys, how
Yeah.
they performed, especially the drivers, was fantastic. I mean, Leclerc just showed me why to me he's just one of the best. To me, it's just. I mean, he wasn't scared to take his own teammate. And
Yeah.
I don't care what people say about that time of the race, but Leclerc kind of showed you that he is fast. He wants to win. He's not gonna give up, because that's the top three things I thought about when he was going at it in Sainz.
Yeah.
He's not scared. He wants to win. He wants to put in that fear on other drivers as well. Like, look, I'm not scared to take you on.
Yeah.
Because we know that Verstappen is not scared to take you on. You know Alonso's not scared to take you on. You know Hamilton is not scared to take you on. So
Yeah.
those are some of the things that I saw today that, okay, cool. Finally, how can I say, what did I say last week? I said last week that he's showing that he wants to win. He's showing that he can be aggressive. And today he took another step by actually challenging his own driver, his own teammate, sorry. And
Yeah.
yes, we were all nervous, but I could see the Ferrari fans were quite excited about that
Yeah.
battle. I mean, it was ballsy for him to even try to overtake him the last lap, where he almost actually crashed into him and had to lock up.
Yeah.
So there was a cringe moment for us all when he actually locked up on that chicane, but he gave it his all. And the nice thing is that after the race, he actually went to Sainz and shaked his hand.
Yeah, I thought that was good as well. I enjoyed.
You see, so there was a nice touch from him. So. Yeah, well, I had a lot to say about Ferrari today.
Yeah, I watched some of the interviews afterwards, and he said, like both drivers were quite happy. Like even Leclerc, who came out second best, he even said, he had fun, he enjoyed it. He didn't see any worries he didn't see any problem with what he did or with what Sainz did. He thought it was fair racing, fair hard racing, and he said that's what he likes, and that's how it's supposed to be. I disagree in a way about. You said Leclerc and Sainz were really fast, and they should have maybe played around with strategy. I agree to an extent, but at the same time, Red Bull like to set up their cars for the race, and if I'm really honest with you, in the beginning, Max struggled to pass Sainz, and you know how you can tell Sainz defended well. Sainz defended so well because he kept Max behind him. But the moment Max got past him, bro, the guy was
he was gone.
He was gone. He was gone.
Yeah.
And that just shows you, first of all, how good Sainz actually was at defending him. But it also makes you wonder, did they really have the pace on Red Bull? Maybe they did on fresh tires, but at the moment they start, they obviously have worse degradation than Red Bull. We know this. This has been.
Yes, I was about to say that. Yeah.
So that's fair. But that's also, in terms of playing around with strategy, where it's very difficult against, like maybe with Perez they could have played with him.
Yeah. No, you're spot on with that.
But with Max, it's very difficult to. It's
Max is Max, bro. Max is Max. I mean, Max should enjoy this car. Eh? Might not have that car again.
That guy's living life, man. Like when Sainz cut him off on turn 1 2 in the chicane, and he was just like, that was a bit naughty, and it sounded like he was laughing, bro. 2 years ago, that guy would have been losing himself, Max. He's matured a lot, first of all, but he's loving life so much that he's not even phased, bro.
Yeah,
He's just like, that was a bit naughty.
yeah, nah, it's crazy.
But
It's
it's
crazy.
but it's nice though. I like this Max as well. Like I kind of I don't mind the aggressive Max. I like the aggressive Max. I like the Max that has that passion. But I also like the Max that's sort of easygoing. The Max that's sort of like, that was a bit naughty. That bit of banter in the car. Like he's so not phased about it that he's like, whatever, man. Like that's a bit naughty. Okay, but it's fine. We'll take him later. Um, because it's a good laugh. It's just a bit of a banter. It's a good laugh. And
Yeah,
we know Sainz and Max are somewhat mates, I guess. In a way, they do get along. So it's nice that he saw it that way and he didn't sort of like appeal, like, like, guys, can you look at that? He was just like, it was a bit naughty. It was just like sort of tongue-in-cheek humor kind of thing. Um, we talking about Ferrari. You being surprised about Ferrari's pace. I was surprised about McLaren's lack of pace. Um, you consider that they did quite well in Austria. They did quite well in Singapore, Silverstone. Uh,
Belgium,
yeah, they
Spa.
did quite well in these fast open tracks. Monza's a pretty fast open track, and they seem to struggle a bit, which is, in a way, I don't know if it's the same, because I mean, like, Austria is a fast open track, but there's also a lot of windy turns. Same with Silverstone, whereas Monza is like one long ass straight. Like it's just got like a few small little turns. So I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have been too surprised. I'm not too sure exactly what the strengths of that McLaren are. I know that they have got strength in the more sort of flowy open tracks, which is Monza. But Monza's obviously just a lot more straights that maybe that's favored, like Albons and so on, and the Ferraris, for example. But I think the McLarens did all right. And I mean, unlucky for Piastri. That was definitely Lewis's bad, but unlucky for Piastri. But I think they did quite well. Um, anyways, let's move on to. I mean, there's not much more we can say about McLaren really. They did well, but they weren't really anywhere. There was a lot of teams that really weren't actually anywhere today. Aston Martin, for one, were very anonymous. I don't think I saw Stroll once in this race
Yeah,
at all. I don't know
yeah,
if the camera was on Alonso, like maybe once or twice, but other than that, never really
yeah.
saw him.
But but the amazing thing about Alonso is that how can you finish within the points in every race? Like what?
Yeah, no, he's doing good, man. He's doing well. He's doing
Like
well.
I don't know. Like Alonso's amazing, man.
Yeah,
He's
he
amazing.
is.
No, he's
He
amazing.
is.
Like
Even when the car's not working, it's working
yo,
for
like
him.
yeah, that car wasn't working this whole weekend, but still,
Yeah,
you'll be between ninth and 10th.
yeah.
It's amazing, man. It's amazing.
Yeah. Then another team that was anonymous was Alfa Romeo, just nowhere to be seen. I don't think the camera was on them once.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
uh,
but Bottas got a 10th, eh? That's surprising.
yeah, but it was right. Yeah, but I mean, I never saw anything of him. Like there was so much action up front that we didn't actually see any of the backdrop. I mean, Haas were the last two drivers on. I had no clue how that even happened because
Yeah,
Hulkenberg was running 10th at a stage, so I don't even know how he ended up right
yeah,
at the back. So it's something's going on with Haas. I'm not gonna lie. It just seems like they both end up at the same place at the end of every race, and it's usually kind of at the back. But Hulkenberg usually starts in the front, so I don't really know.
yeah.
Something's going on there. But anyways, um, let's move on to Red Bull. Um, Again, I don't have much to say. I'm very impressed with Perez. I think he's redeemed himself. He's come back extremely well. I'm very happy with his performance today. And then Max is Max, man. I can't. I mean, 10 in a row. I mean, we just have to congratulate him for 10 in a row, the first time that's ever been done. I honestly can't see why he can't make it 15 in a row at the rate he's going, at the rate that car's going. It's a match made in heaven. Like there's no better match than Max and a Red Bull at the moment. And so you kind of just have to applaud it. So yeah, well done Max for your 10 in a row, and well done to the team as well. I think they got 15 in a row, which is also apparently some kind of statistic record thing. 15 in a row.
Wow.
You know they've won 24 out of the last 25 races. That's ridiculous, man. That's hectic. Wow. Anyways, that's all I have to say about Red Bull. I don't have much else to add to them. Just well done. Just very, very good for them. And I'm very impressed with both of them, obviously. I don't know if you've got anything else you want to add.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll focus on periods mostly. Periods from now on, you have Singapore, so that's another circuit that should favor your car, I think. So let's just get the momentum and carry that momentum on, and just, for the rest of the season. I mean, Verstappen clearly is running away with the championship, and Perez's goal now is to actually maintain that second position in the championship
Yeah.
table. So his main goal now is just to finish within the points in all races, and it's obligated that he actually finishes second or third.
Yeah.
I think Red Bull will be looking at that's performance that he will be able to, or he has to finish within the podium each and every race. Although even if Red Bull actually drop points, it wouldn't actually matter. So they're leading by far.
Yeah,
I mean,
very next level.
Mercedes is second, and they're probably like 100, 200 points.
Oh, they're on the moon already, mate. They're on the moon already. They like in a different planet at the moment.
Yeah, so his main goal is probably just to finish second or third, or perhaps win one more race. We don't know. He has won 2 so far in the season.
Yeah.
So yeah, should just carry on the momentum. That's all.
Max
on my side.
Max could have started this race in Zandvoort and probably still won. It's just like it's. It's like it's mental. It's a bit crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Anyways, we'll just touch briefly on Red Bull. Just it just comes to a point where it's just like, look, okay, because it's been like 15 races now. Like we just 14 races. Like there's just nothing we can say. Like they're just too good. There's really not much more that we need to say about them. One team that has got a couple talking points today is Mercedes. You know what's funny about Mercedes? They had a tale of two halves in the sense where it's like they actually did really well, but they actually were really bad at the same time. If you consider 5th and 6th, that's pretty decent for them. It's pretty good. Russell had some pretty decent pace most of the weekend. And even in the race, the only one that really passed him was Perez. Otherwise, he was doing quite well. Hamilton came from 12th or whatever he did at a stage. He dropped back and he came back up again, and finished behind Russell. So, I mean, all in all, it's a really good result for them. But both of them got into a little bit of trouble. Both of them. Both Mercedes drivers got a little bit cheeky and a little bit naughty, and ended up with penalties. Russell for very stupidly gaining an advantage by going off the track, which even Crofty was saying it's a bit stupid because he wasn't even in the same race as Ocon. Like Ocon wasn't even, the guy's like 20th or something, and I don't even know what Russell was thinking. But at the same time, it's like, is that Russell's fault, or is that the team just not letting him know, like, listen, pal, he's not really racing you, so just let him go? But it's like that races intuition or whatever you want to call it. Like, no one's gonna pass me. I don't care if he's 20th or if he's from F2, or it doesn't actually matter. I'm gonna not let him pass me. And it was just a pointless 5-second penalty. And then
wow.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying Russell's one was dumb. Like It's exactly what I was thinking about when I was watching the race. Like, you don't even race again.
He's
Like, you
far
don't.
away.
Why do you just give away the place and you just overtake him again or whatever? Like, why are you staying ahead?
Nah.
But the only thing I took out of Mercedes race, race, not race weekend, but race, is that they were actually doing Ferrari things today. If you actually think about it, it was so funny to watch because Mercedes is usually quite sharp in their strategies and their communication with the drivers. Just they're always a well-oiled machine throughout the weekend, and in particular in the races. So today was quite funny, to be honest. And it was quite funny to see. I mean, Hamilton's one it's not that bad. I mean, because his strategy was quite different. He started with the hards, then he went into the mediums.
Yeah, I think his strategy was great, to be honest. It worked. It worked
his strategy was basically to hunt.
Yeah.
Basically, so that was part of him hunting his places back.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, it wasn't that bad, but the Russell one was just some rookie. Yeah, I don't know what he was doing.
But the Hamilton penalty was a bit naughty. I think it's
yeah, it was.
Like
I mean, even he said in the press conference, like, he apologized to Piastri. He was like, nah, it was my fault.
Yeah.
He didn't even waste time.
Did he though? I must say, I didn't even see his press. I watched so many of them, but I actually didn't even see his.
I saw his one.
I'm glad.
You should be proud of me, eh?
I'm glad
you should be proud of me. I watched all post-race interviews today.
Well done.
Proud of myself.
Usually that's my job. But I'm glad Hamilton apologized though, because he doesn't often. I'm not gonna lie, he doesn't often.
Yeah.
And it's really good that he did, because Piastri was doing quite okay again in the points, and he's just having a solid rookie year, and he got the fastest lap anyway. So he still got a point for the day.
He's the real deal, man. He's the real deal.
I think he is, and I think he's proven it already. I mean, if you think about it, it's his first year in that car, and he's so close to Norris. Imagine 2-3 years from now where he'll be. But yeah. Anyways, I gotta point out that Max and Lewis did have to pass, or Max had to pass Lewis at turn 1, and I was just wondering if they weren't getting a bit of deja vu before they entered to that. Before they got to turn 1, yeah. I wonder if one of them were thinking, 2021 vibes, like.
Yeah.
I wonder if Hamilton was just like, okay, maybe I should just let him go. It's like,
and they're not even racing each other. That's the thing. Not even totally different strategies.
Yeah.
So,
no, but it was a deja vu moment for them, and. I
wonder how Hamilton feels though. Like,
I would have loved, I would love to know what was going on through his head at that point.
Sure.
But okay. Let's move on to.
Well, before we move on, I still think Hamilton was a mistake, like signing that new contract. That's just my opinion.
Let's touch on that. For 2 years.
Yeah, dude.
It's a bit rough. The thing is, so I kind of get it. He wants to go to the end of 2025 so that 2026 he can look at a new deal then, depending on who he wants to go with, to see if maybe Mercedes have made some steps or whatever. But I also feel like, he's at that stage in his life now where I agree with those 1 year deals. See how the team is doing. Take another 1 year.
I was about to say that.
A 2 year one is an odd one for someone like him now to take now. But hey, I mean, if he's seeing something we don't. Maybe Mercedes have got a plan. They've definitely. I won't say them adding their side pods made a massive difference, but. They are still second in the constructors, so it's not like it's not like they're far off. But what I mean is just like in terms of development, I still don't really see them catching Red Bull next year. You know what I mean? Like,
no.
So I don't know. It's a bit of a tough one.
Yeah.
Russell, I can still understand a 2-year deal. That still makes sense.
Yes.
He's young, the next leader of the team.
Yeah.
I kind of get that, so it's not too bad. But yeah, I don't know. With Lewis, I just the 2-year deal. The deal wasn't the problem. It's the 2-year part that I'm just a bit like, oh, okay, that just seems a bit odd. Right. Okay. So let's move on from that. Again, we don't really have to talk about Aston Martin. They were absolutely nowhere. Stroll wasn't once on the camera today. The TV director just ignored the guy. They just like, no, we don't. We
Yeah, not today.
no,
Not today.
not today. No, that we just not today, Tom. Like, leave Stroll alone for today.
I mean, Williams. We can speak about Williams and Albon.
Yes, I was getting there. The next one I was
Yeah.
gonna, the next point was Albon scoring consistent, valuable points for Williams. Albon scored a couple points down in the last few races. He's getting those 8th places.
Yeah.
He's been getting those 8th positions. He got the 7th position today. And he's really making the most out of that car. He's really making
Yes.
the best that he can
Yes.
out of that car. And you know what? Williams are not the last on, they're not the wooden spoon team
Yeah.
anymore. And it's because of
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Sargent is a bit useless, I'm not going to lie. If he couldn't score this week, I told you before the weekend, mate. Like, if Sargent doesn't score a point in Monza, he's never gonna score a point, because this is literally the best track for Williams. This was the track for Williams, and Albon proved it, and Sargent was just nowhere. I mean, when Sargent put in that 6th place in Q1, I was like, oh yes, look at this, Sargent's come to the party. And then Q2 he bottled it, and I was just like, whatever, man, just forget it. Yeah, I don't know. I think Williams are making steps, but unfortunately, they only relying on that type of straight line speed car. They obviously need a more well-rounded car if they want to start competing again in the midfield. But for now, they're doing well to not be the wooden spoon team anymore.
Yeah. I
Mostly
mean,
Albon.
look, dude, Albon has really surprised me this season. The whole paddock has actually been surprised with his performance. And the nice thing is that he's not becoming like a number one driver, but now he has the experience of a number one driver, and that's quite good. The only bad thing, or the only thing that might set him back, is that one of the big boys will eventually want him.
Yeah.
And he won't be the number one driver. So
yeah,
that his career now is going. It's going quite good. He's the number one driver, but I'm thinking a lot of the big boys are going to want his services.
Yeah.
And now it's going to depend now where he fits in and which team. Because I remember you actually also have said, look, you would look good in a Ferrari. I'm like, yeah.
I think so, yeah, I will.
Actually, you would. And I did say that I would like to see a bit more from him. So, look, I'm keeping a close eye on him. And I'm looking forward for next season as well, what Williams will do to the car.
Yeah.
And maybe the car will be even more better than next season, and you'll be even more better next season as well.
Yeah.
And maybe after next season, the big boys will start looking at him for serious.
Who knows? Williams could be one of the big boys. You never know. You never know.
That's another thing. Yeah, you never know. Honestly,
I'm not even gonna lie to you. I considered the other day. I actually think I told you, but I was actually saying the other day. I wonder if Ricciardo and Albon would actually make a pretty decent team. If you put them two in that Williams. If you think about the consideration of building the team, they don't need a rookie. If they want to build the team, you have one driver that's like a really solid force like Albon, and Ricciardo, who can be a really solid force, but he's also there for the development side of it. I honestly, I honestly think that that would be a really sick team. But yeah, look, I'm not gonna lie. I said it to you this weekend. It's time that they. I mean, I know they're not Red Bull, but just bring Mick in, get rid of Sargent. He's just useless, honestly.
Yeah, so I don't know where Williams gets these drivers from. First it was Latifi, now it's Sargent. Like
Mate, I don't know, man. But Latifi, like the thing is, right?
it's
Latifi came second in F2, so it's not like he was that bad of a driver, but it's just that, yeah, he was. Sargent came third, I think, in F2 as well. So it's not like he's like a bad driver. It's just that step to F1 is just a big step, and they've just not been able to handle it. But anyways, let's move on to Alpha Tauri, Yuki Tsunoda. So if any of you are betting people, and you had a bet for a DNF to happen at a certain stage or whatever, you would have lost that bet because Yuki didn't not finish. He didn't DNF. He didn't start the race, so he didn't even start. Okay, and basically the reason I'm telling you that is because BT and myself work for a betting industry, in the betting industry, and we would actually like to do a tipping segment on our channel at some point, but we're getting there. We're working on it. We still need to look at the legal things behind it as well.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah. But in terms of tips and in terms of betting odds and so on, we'd like to get into that. If any of you guys are interested in that type of stuff, let me know. Before we start talking about it on the podcast, then it might become a TikTok segment as well on the TikTok channel. So
and the thing, Graham, you didn't start the race, and you know other people think that bet should have been voided, but no, it's actually a loss.
Yes, that's 100% exactly, and you're not wrong. You're not wrong. A lot of people will say that's a voided bet, but if you put a bet on Yuki to not finish, you would you have lost though? It might have been a voided bet though, because if he didn't start, then they would have not given him. He would have not had the opportunity to not finish, if that makes sense. So it might have been a voided bet. So we'll let you guys know on TikTok. But if you haven't gone into your chat service now and say, I had Yuki to DNF, but he didn't even start the race, void my bet. They should void your bet. I'm pretty certain that they'll void your bet. So just go and make sure that they voided your bet. And if they haven't, go into chat service right now and tell them you need to void my bet. Because Graham said, and BT said that if Yuki didn't have the chance to not finish, how can you take my bet? Do you know what I mean? Anyways, we're going to stick with AlphaTauri. We're going to move away from Yuki Tsunoda, and we're going to talk about Liam Lawson. Now, I'm going to say this. He did very well this weekend, just in general. And to be quite honest with you, it's his second time in a F1 car, his first time at a full weekend. And I've got to say, Ricciardo's best finish was 13th, and he finished 13th today for the second time in a row. And you've got to admire him as a youngster, and it's like, yeah, okay, he's not gotten any points, it's not special, but actually, if you consider the car he's driving, he's actually doing a damn good job so far.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't far from the points. 1 or 2 DNFs up front, and he's on the money. That's how Yuki's gotten all of his points. So it's the same way, if he's just there or thereabout, 1 or 2 DNFs, and he's on the money. And that's what you need. You need drivers that are going to get the most out of the car so that they can pick up the pieces. So well done to Lawson. Really well done to him.
I mean, he did make Q2, right? If I'm not mistaken. So
he did.
That's quite
100%.
good. That was a good sign. So he did quite well, to be honest with you. I mean, I could even say that if he was driving one of the McLarens, I think he would be in the points. He has that race pace, so
yeah, I think he's
done very well.
He's got a decent racecraft. He doesn't struggle to make the moves. He doesn't struggle to push the car as far as he can. So I think he's good. I think he's good to be there.
He's not aggressive. I didn't watch him drive. He's not that aggressive. He has a very smooth technique.
He's like Carlos Sainz in a way.
Smooth but technical as well.
Yeah.
So he has a really smooth way of driving.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's quite cool to see.
Yeah. He's very much like Sainz in a way. Sainz is also very smooth. Sainz is not the most aggressive driver. You see, Albon, you can still see like Albon still likes to make the odd overtake from time to time.
Yeah,
Sainz is not the biggest overtaker. He's generally he's extremely consistent, and I think Lawson reminds me of that. He's just very smooth, consistent, stays out of trouble, does his job. But when there's open air, just goes for it and puts out the lap time. So, if that works for him, well done. I'm really impressed with him so far. Other than that, BT, I've got two more things to talk about, but that aren't about the team. So I don't know if there's anything else that you would like to talk about regarding drivers or teams before we move on.
no, I don't. Let me just charge my laptop. I'm coming now.
Right. Okay. So let's just get back into this. We are done talking about the teams and the drivers. I think I've got two more things that I'd like to just bring up. Two points. First of all, I'd like to say the formation laps at the end were amazing. When you saw the two Red Bulls and the two Ferraris, it actually looked really cool. And I don't know why, it just looked so cool to see it. It just feels such a respectful thing, like the two teams like following each other. And it was like a respect thing, you know, like it I don't know. It was just really nice to see. And then the other point that I'd like to just make, and
Hot take.
Rosberg's a bit of a tit. He's
Who?
Rosberg. He's just not my cup of tea, man. The guy's he's just a bit of a knobhead. And like the guy just literally oversteps. Like I don't know if you saw, but
no, I didn't. What did you say?
He just started telling Fred how to run his team. He's just like, he said to Fred, he's like, yeah, but now you know what you need to do now is you need to get the two drivers together in a room and talk to them. And I'm just like, bro, like who died and made you the king of Ferrari, bro? Like, what are you doing? I don't know, he was just telling Fred how to do his job, and I couldn't understand what was going on. First of all, I don't understand the negativity. I've got to say that between him and Naomi and even Simon, they were very negative towards Fred and Ferrari today, towards Leclerc and Sainz as well. They were very, very negative towards Ferrari. I think their concern was, what if the drivers had crashed at the end? You know, it's your home race, you've got the Tifosi here, you know, and their thing was like, why are you letting them race, you know? But it's like, it's got nothing to do with them. It's really got nothing to do with them. And also, second of all, it's Fred said it perfectly. He's like, you know, when we don't let them race, you complain. When we let them race, you complain.
Yeah,
it's like,
what do you want?
What do you want? Like, I don't know, man. I think what Ferrari did today was great. Yes, I have my reservations. I did have my concerns on certain things, but mate, at the end of the day, it's their home race. They've got to make the most of it, but they also have to enjoy it. Yes. And they did. They had good fun. They did very well, and the Tifosi loved it. So they put on a show, and that's that, man. So I don't know. Rosberg just needs to stop talking. Honestly, I think it would be great.
Just to calm down.
Yeah, he just needs to relax a little bit.
There's a reason why he's not a team principal. Right? There's a reason why.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Anyways, let's move away from this. That is the race review done. If you're still watching, really appreciate your time. Please smash that subscribe button if you're still watching, but we are going to move on to the next segments. And these are just quick fun segments that we're just going to end off with. Moment of the week, BT. You can go for your moment of the week. Give me yours first.
Moment of the week is when they told Leclerc to not risk, and he was risking it.
That's
my moment of the week.
That's a very Max.
Like, that was classic.
Yeah,
classic.
That's a very sort of Max-esque type of a thing to do, to not listen to the team. It was really good to see, because that's what makes champions. You know, people always complain, you know, Max doesn't listen to his team, but that's what makes a champion. And Red Bull, Ferrari fans could only or should only wish that Charles was more like Max, that didn't listen to the team, because maybe he'll get more out of it.
Yes.
But it was great. I was rooting for Sainz though, man. Just just
I know you
yeah,
were.
just
I
based
know you were.
just based on the race that he had, right? Like just the race that he had, I was just kind of like, this guy can't have a race like this and then end up losing to
But
Leclerc.
but do you know what I noticed today? That Leclerc actually kept his tires very well
Yeah, he did.
because he was quite racy at the end of the race as well. And he only put it like 2 laps or
Yeah.
1 lap after Sainz.
Yeah.
And his tires were still looking good. Or not looking good, but he kept his tires very well. We know
Yeah.
Perez tends to do that a lot as well.
Yeah.
So that was quite nice to see.
Yeah. No, that is true. That is true. But yeah, like I said, man, I just couldn't. Sainz did so well. I just didn't want him to lose that place to Leclerc just because he did so well, and he had the better out of Leclerc the whole weekend, man. And I just didn't want him to lose that place. So really, really impressed and very happy with Sainz. Yeah, my moment of the week was Max versus Sainz, or Sainz versus Max. To me, that was one of the most exciting things I've seen in a long time, and the reason why is because, like I said in the beginning, it's like you're usually excited to see these dive bombs and these overtakes, but when you watch a man defend like that, man, it's like that was exciting, man, and it was so exciting, and it was also nice that there was that humility between the drivers, like Max, like I said, being cheeky, like, it's like, that was naughty, like there was no animosity, there was no anger, there was no moaning and little girls screaming. It was just hard racing, hard defending, on the limit, attacking and defending. It was just beautiful to watch, and to be honest, Max played it to the T. He forced Sainz to make a mistake, and he got out on better traction.
Yeah.
And you know what, I wanted to say this on one of my TikTok videos, but I haven't done one yet. But if you look at that overtake from Max, right, as soon as Sainz locked up, you saw Max take the wider line. Because he knew straight away, as soon as Sainz made that lockup, he knew straight away he was going to get better traction. And I've got the reason I'm pointing that out is because, there's this whole debate. A lot of people like to what's the word? I can't speak English today, mate. Like, honestly, jeez. Everybody likes to talk down Max as being this great driver, but he is so intelligent. He knows when it's his moment. He knows when it's this moment. And as soon as he saw Sainz lock up, he knew this was my time to take the wide line and get the better traction on the outside. And it's just that's what makes champions, bro. That's what makes good drivers.
Yeah, but he has the upper hand of having a great car.
Yeah, no, of course.
So when you have a great car, you can make decisions like that. You can wait on your prey and wait for them to actually make a mistake before you actually take charge.
100%. But some people have great cars and still don't do that. Do you know what I mean? It's like what
Alonso.
No, Alonso's pretty. I mean, he's probably got one of the highest IQs in racing, in my opinion. He is like that. But I mean, like Stroll and Perez, for example, they not like that. Stroll and Perez aren't Perez is from a point to a point, but like, even when Perez did his overtakes, he didn't do anything clever. He just was able to overtake them. You know what I mean? He wasn't. There was no necessity. There was no need for him to force a mistake. And anyways, you get the point. Anyways, my moment of the week was Max versus Sainz. I just thought that was an epic battle. And I loved every bit of it. Let's move over to.
That's gonna look quite cool in the Netflix series, eh?
I agree.
When it comes out next year,
and they're probably going
that particular race, like the Monza race, is gonna look cool.
But
that segment.
But what's gonna happen though, right? When Max said, "Yeah, that was a bit naughty," they're probably gonna use like one of Max's radios from 2021, where he's gonna say, "He's pushing me off the road. He's pushing me off the road." Like, they're gonna over dramatize that nonsense.
It's Hollywood, bro.
Yeah,
it's Hollywood.
Anyways, let's move on. Blooper of the week, BT. Who's your blooper of the week?
It's Russell.
Russell. Why?
Yes.
Oh, jeez, come on. It's not like he didn't do that bad, honestly. What is
the Ocon situation? Come on, dude.
That bad?
Yeah.
Wow,
that's
hectic.
bad.
No, it was.
It was bad.
I mean, it was bad, but I don't think it was that bad. To be honest, my blooper of the week, if you want to say, is probably Alpine. Mate, like from what they did last week to what they did now. Like they got a podium last week. Where were they today? Like, were they even there? I don't even.
They're still partying. They're still partying in Amsterdam, dude.
Yeah, like I
Still
don't.
in Amsterdam.
No, I'm genuine now. I'm not even joking. Were they even there? Like,
Yo, what a weekend.
Ocon DNF'd. I didn't even know. Like I did. I'm not even lying to you. No, somebody messaged. No, I'm dead serious, bro. I'm not even joking. Somebody messaged on our little WhatsApp F1 group. Did Ocon DNF because his name is grayed out? And I looked and I was like, right, yeah, it is. Like the camera didn't even show him DNF. Like I don't know if I missed it or like they just didn't show it, but like he was just not. He was.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like the cameras in this race is also shading like drivers, eh? Like they were just not interested. Like
No,
the only time I saw a horse was when Leclerc and Perez and Sainz were following each other.
At the end,
and
right
they
at
were
the end.
overtaking
Yes,
him.
and then getting blue flags. I agree, yeah, dude. Like that's the only time I saw the horse was right at the end, and it was because of blue flags. He was getting lapped. Like, oh, and it was rough, my bro. Those Italians are magicians, my bro. They just make people disappear all of a sudden. Like
Bruh,
half the grid were anonymous today.
Yeah.
Half the grid.
You could swear this race there was
10 drivers in this race, bro.
Yeah.
That was
that show. Yeah.
That was like literally it.
Basically.
Anyways,
the rest we don't know where they were.
So my bloopers is like, okay, look, mate, like I'm not gonna lie to you, it had nothing to do with the race, but my blooper of the week is just Rosberg, bro. Like the guy is a blooper. like you can't be telling a team principal how to do his job, man. Like honestly, that's just dumb. Like he's just a knobhead, honestly, man. You know what? I hated him when he was in F1. And then I started liking him after F1. He was showing some cool things on his YouTube channel, and when he was presenting, he was quite fun, and you know. But in the last year, man, he's just been so annoying, man. Like he just takes these guys on, like, and he like challenges them, and I'm just like, bro, who are you? Like, who are you even? You won a championship because Hamilton had one more DNF than you. Like, you are nobody. Basically. Like, just keep quiet, bro. Like, who are you? Anyways, whatever, man. Let's move over to the top 3 prediction. Our top 3 prediction from last week for Monza was, for me, Max Perez and Norris. So, what's nice about this one is that I'm going to get a full 4 points for that one. And you're gonna get 2 points for that one. So that closes that gap quite nicely. And in Hungary, what was Hungary's what happened in Hungary? Who came? What was because
that's a while ago.
I know, but I haven't filled it in because remember we missed that episode after Hungary, so we didn't fill it in. Yeah, we missed that episode, so we didn't fill it in. And so I haven't filled it in. So I must actually go and find out what the podium was there, so that we can fill the points in here. I must say you went quite wild on that one. You went Alonso, Max, and Leclerc. You're hectic, my bro. Anyways, cool. So that gap is closing up quite lekker. We're not bad.
Do you remember Dirk's one?
I don't.
Remember Dirk's top?
I don't, but I'm gonna have to add it in there as well.
I know you said Sainz for third though.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah, he did.
Did he?
He did.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, he probably put like Ocon first. So I mean, let's just. I'm just joking, Dirk. If you're watching this, I do love you, but I'm just joking. Okay. No, but
yeah.
Right. Okay. Cool. So that's that gap is closing up. Okay, BT, I'm gonna give you my top 3 for the next race. And the next race we are going to is Singapore, which is gonna be a pretty tight one. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm predicting Aston Martins and perhaps even the McLarens might look a bit pacey. But I'm gonna go with a Max, Alonso, and Perez top 3. So you can give me yours. I don't know why you're like looking at me like I'm supposed to say more. There's only 3, so I've given you my 3.
I'm gonna go wild in this one. Like wild.
Like Ocon, Bottas, Hulkenberg, wild.
Max is gonna DNF. I'm going for Leclerc, Alonso, and Norris.
Nah, now you're just taking the mickey here, bro. Like, obviously you're gonna lose. You're not doing stuff like that. But hey, listen, if you want to lose, that's up to you, pal.
You were risking it the first part of the season. I'm risking it the last part of the season.
Yeah, I know. That's fair. We'll see how that works out for you. Maybe my risks were better than your risks because the points are pretty close, and you've only risked it for twice.
That did not sound. That sound good.
I think it's time for bed, mate. Like, I honestly think it's time for bed. And on that note, we might as well call it a day. BT, before we finish off, we rate the race. Give me your rate of the race for Monza Grand Prix.
10,
for
bro.
it. 10 out of 10. Right. Okay, it's a bit much for me. I thought it was a 9 out of 10. Zandvoort was still, to me, tops. This one was just great, but for different reasons. But I'm going to go for a 9 out of 10 for Monza. Very, very epic race, guys. That is it for us today. We are done with our race review. Thank you so much for sticking around if you have stuck around. Please, like I said, if you're still here, please go and hit that subscribe button. Or if you're on Spotify, just go and give us that 5 stars. We would really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching us. And we'll see you again next week. Have a good day. Cheers. Bye.